Good afternoon, everyone. Frost advisory still out in western Tennessee. Florida experiencing extremely cold temperatures. This article, I investigated 146-year record of last measurable snow in Chicago, followed by Stella with significant snows. Looking at repeating patterns, the National Weather Service multi-years if you match them. Ice on the overhead electric line stops trains. This is a locomotive pulling the commuter. Those lines were so iced up, the electrical flow stopped. Looking at 2016, not even in the top 15 for spring temperatures in Chicago. And while you're watching, please remember to subscribe to Adapt 2030 and join me for mini Ice Age conversations on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud. Below average temperatures just keep sweeping through the eastern United States. Western Tennessee, frost advisories. Looking at the low temperatures here on the map, Florida still unusually cold. I wanted to jump up to a 146-year record a viewer of mine sent, talking about the last measurable day of snow, asking why this is happening. Through this spring, it's been unseasonably warm in some areas as these jet streams are moving because of our weakened magnetosphere. You can see the pattern coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, pushing straight up into that Great Lakes area and over into the Midwest states. And directly above that, higher in the atmosphere, is a jet stream. These are moving into different directions in different places because our magnetosphere is loosening, allowing these regular air patterns that are normally trapped in place to travel to new locations. And this is why we're getting this out-of-season weather. And I do give credit to the author. At the end of the article, Safia wrote that while the chances of snowfall decrease this late in the season, they're still possible, and it's too early to write off the 2016-17 snow season. Applaud for that. And then lo and behold, first significant snowfall in nearly 3 months sweeps through Chicago, Great Lake, with lake effect snows, dropping 6 to 8 inches over Chicago that exact time. Radar loop showing you the snowfall in the blue areas. And this is what 6 to 8 inches of snowfall looks like as you're flying over the city. And just a fast fact for you, March 14th was the latest in the season with half a foot or more snow depth since 1999. Now, where was that news story at? And this is exactly what they've experienced during these last grand solar minimums. Seasons are out of place, so the planting gets affected and so does the harvesting. That's the greatest concern in the grand solar minimums. It's not about heating your house and keeping it warm. It's about growing food. And when our temperatures change so much and seasons are out of flux, and ice events just like this one are happening, this affects our food supply. Ice overhead on the electric line stopped several trains, literally stopped them. Those lines above that locomotive right there became so encased in ice that the commuter train behind it that runs on those lines, the electrical charge was lost because the ice was so thick on the lines that it couldn't make contact. And this wasn't for a few minutes, this was for 8 hours in Chicago. That is a locomotive pulling the commuter train because it lost its electrical source. And while digging through these locomotive sites, I brought you, here's an amazing picture. 100 years ago, running the routes, New York State. Images like this are what you'll find. I encourage you to jump over. I left the links below. There's 100 or more of these amazing time capsule photos on that site. This train was a mail train, and it took 4 of those locomotives to pull it up a grade for 2 miles. And then while looking through the National Weather Service season snowfall totals for Chicago from 1884, I just started looking for the highs and the lows. I found some 80s. And then way back in the 1890s, there's some low season totals. But when we come into the 1970s, and we knew that was an extremely cold, snowy period, you match these two up here and you'll see that it starts in the 80s, it drops off, and then it drops again. Now this winter is far from over, so this 2016-17 snow total can still be added to. And there were heavy snows in the beginning in November. And now there's snows again, so it'll be at least the average this year. But how much above that? Then we can start to maybe see a pattern using these 5-year multiples either rising or falling in snowfall totals. So then I went back and I said, well, if it's going to continue to fall, can I find a falling pattern in the whole spreadsheet here? And yes, if you start at 1884, where the asterisk is, you'll see it descends year upon year upon year. And the early 1900s was another cool period based on sunspot activity. And you can see there was a drop-off in activity around the 1900-year point. So one thing's obvious, Chicago's weather is getting completely mixed up. And this is a perfect example of what the mini ice age is about. Weather patterns getting so erratic. Almost the entire eastern seaboard, there's been frost and freeze damage on anything that was flowered, which is absolutely going to reduce the amount of output this year. Pure and simple. You can start to see the feedback loops that it gets into. 2024 is supposed to be the coldest year of this cycle. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. And with agricultural losses, of course, things are going to cost more in your lives. You're going to have to pay more for food. Visit Bob at Trade Genius. They're trading on the grand solar minimum effects of exactly what I've been talking about in this video. They'll be happy to share more with you. You can contact them at tradegenius.co.